This is St. Anthony Game Day, only on Sports Extra with Mark Rogers.
Hi, everybody. Welcome to the St. Anthony Game Day post-game show. We will go live to Mark Rogers and Tracy Gordon at the Rose Bowl in just a few moments. But first, let's take a look at the highlights from the UCLA-OU game just off the air. Carl Durrell says this was a measuring stick game for his Bruins. The first big play for the Sooners measures 56 yards. Travis Wilson, the leading rusher for the Sooners today, 2 touches for 61 yards, 56 of them right there for the touchdown. OU up 7-0, but the Sooners were bitten by the turnover bug early. Lindy Holmes has no business being around that punt. Muffs it, UCLA recovers, and it would take mere moments for the Bruins to turn that into points. Drew Olson to Andrew Baumgartner. First play after the turnover for the touchdown. That ties it at 7. Later, the Sooners turn it over again. This time, Adrian Peterson with a nice gain. Would have been enough for a first down. Defender gets his helmet on the ball, coughs it up. The Bruins get it and turn it into more points. This time, lucky for the Sooners, it was only 3 on the field goal. It was 13-10 Bruins at the half. Sooners needing to get something going in the second half, and that didn't happen. Rhett Bomar fumbles when he's hit by Dennis Keys. All-American Spencer Havener recovers. And just like that, the Bruins are on top by 10. Then Peterson trying to get the Sooners back in. It wills his way into the end zone from 11 yards out for the score. Sooners within 3, and the Sooner faithful thinking there may be a chance. But the Bruins get on the board again. Drew Olson had 3 touchdown passes. This one to Mercedes Lewis for the touchdown. And the Bruins looking pretty good. The Sooners with just a breath of hope when Demario Pleasant, who had a very nice game at linebacker today, picks off the pass, has the nice return, setting things up. The Sooners only down 10, but before the interception, the Sooners are called for defensive holding, so it's null and void. And then the Bruins pour it on in the end. The final score today, 41-24. Oklahoma drops to 1-2 on the season. Time now to go live to the Rose Bowl, and Mark Rogers. Mark was there to check out the game, and Mark, it was just a game that the Sooners shot themselves in the foot too many times.
You're exactly right, Chris. 7 fumbles for Oklahoma. They lose 3 of those today, and you cannot overcome that type of mistakes and win here against a good UCLA team. Pretty good offense. Let me bring in Tracy Gordon. Tracy, it was a good day for Oklahoma in some instances. The offense looked a little bit better. The defense played well at times, but the turnovers cost them.
Yeah, the turnovers just really killed them because they gave UCLA 17 points on turnovers. And when you turn the ball over, you have a young club. It's really hard to overcome that. I like what I saw from the offense, though, with Rhett Bomar getting him out of the pocket, doing some things in the passing game, using the tight end. So, but again, you can't overcome the turnovers.
And the big play of the ball game today, definitely in the fourth quarter, Oklahoma has a chance on defense. Looks like they're about to make a comeback. Demario Pleasant gets an interception, but a holding call takes that away, and you can feel the air go out of the sidelines. Tracy, we're down there on the sidelines. You can feel the air just go out of the team when that play was called back.
Yeah, you're right, because if they could have got that play and went and scored, then that changes the momentum, and then you have a chance in the ball game. So that was a big, big turning point for Oklahoma.
Sooners lose it today by a score of 41-24 to UCLA. They're 1-2 on the season. They will most likely fall out of any poll and will not be ranked for the first time in a long, long time. So Oklahoma loses today again, 41-24. We'll go back to you, Chris, in studio, and come back for much, much more here from Pasadena.
Well, thanks, Mark. The last time the Sooners started 1-2 back in 1997, they lost to Northwestern and Cal, 2 of their first 3 games. Much, much more to come on the post-game show. We're going to take a look at Rhett Bomar's day, the good, the bad, and the ugly. We'll take a look at Adrian Peterson's day as well. Not very productive for OU. Plus, this is a live look at Boone Pickens Stadium in Stillwater. Coming up, we will update the Cowboys game against Arkansas State. Not seeing that just yet, but we'll see it after the break. We'll be right back.
Watching St. Anthony Game Day, only on Sports Extra with Mark Rogers.
So here's the first appearance in the ball game for 28. They're going to run a reverse this side, and it's going to work for big-time yardage. Down the sidelines goes Travis Wilson. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
We definitely saw quite a bit of new wrinkles in the Oklahoma offense today, and the Sooners didn't wait to start that. In the first quarter, that reverse to Travis Wilson. And, Tracy, you know it's going to be a little bit of a problem when you see that Travis Wilson is your leading rusher today. He carried it 2 times for 61 yards. Adrian Peterson carried it 23 times for 61 yards.
Yeah, you don't like to see that. Obviously, Adrian Peterson needs to be the guy who's carrying the ball and getting all the yards. But, you know, again, I like what they did offensively. I like the play where they spread the offense. Then Bomar's pretty much a quarterback draw, and he scored a touchdown on that. So I really enjoyed that. And I saw some things that Oklahoma can build off of going forward.
I think the offensive line play was better today. Oklahoma had a shift in the offensive line. Davin Joseph started the season at tackle, was moved back to guard for the Tulsa game, moved back to tackle this week. He and Brandon Braxton played the tackle positions with Chris Bush inside at guard. And then, of course, the problems today with the snaps were very key in the first half. Not as many problems in the second half, but Chris Chester at center and Rhett Bomar were not in sync today.
Yeah, you're right. And, you know, they got to get that corrected because you need the quarterback center exchange to be clean because, again, they wasted 4 or 5 plays. So, again, you know, we want to be able to take care of the football, and they got to get that corrected, and I know they will.
Yeah, that's a very big concern. I think in the second half, it did get better. But Adrian Peterson did not have the type of day that Oklahoma needed from him. 23 carries, 61 yards. We mentioned it again. And it seemed like that he had the propensity, Tracy, to break outside with runs sometimes when there was more success perhaps between the tackles.
Yeah, I agree. And, you know, I'm not sure if why he was trying to bounce outside because, again, there were holes open inside. I don't know if he has confidence in his offensive line yet. But, again, he needs to be able to read the blocks, get upfield, and get what he can.
In the first half, Peterson was continuously coming over to the sideline. The training staff was working on him. He had some cramps in his hamstrings, trying to work out those kinks early on. The second half, he played, you know, much better, but just Oklahoma did not have the lead the way they did in the Tulsa game, and so therefore they just could not establish that game between the tackles.
Yeah, they just couldn't get in that rhythm. You know, they would have, you know, a good series, and then they would have some turnovers, mishandle the snap, then they, you know, would go flat. So, again, they have to get into a rhythm. But I saw, again, some things, you know, that they can build off of. So they should work forward for that.
I think they can certainly build off the play of Rhett Bomar, their freshman quarterback, who had an outstanding second half. At one time, he completed 10 consecutive passes. Bomar was 20 of 29 today, 239 yards. He did take 3 sacks, but Tracy, he can make plays with his feet.
He can, and, you know, I like his grit, his toughness, because he took some really good shots today, and he got back up. So I think the future looks good for Oklahoma. So the fans need to be real patient because, again, this is a stepping stone. They come back, they get a week off, they retool, they can get back and play Kansas State and then be 2-2 going into Texas.
And Bomar, you mentioned, he is a very, very fierce competitor. He did take some shots, and I think that if there was any hesitation to run the quarterback, I think Oklahoma answered that question today because when Bomar would get licked, he would get right back up and act like that only fired him up even more.
And again, I think that shows his offensive teammates that, you know, they've got a tough quarterback and he can be the leader of the team. So, you know, they've got to really cut out the turnovers because, again, they gave them so much today. And you're playing a good UCLA team on the road. When you turn the ball over, you cannot win.
I think that there are a lot of things that Oklahoma fans can take positive out of this game today, that they look like a little bit of shift in offensive philosophy has helped them. I think getting Bomar out and able to run some more will give them you know, an extra week coming up here before they play Kansas State with the off week, that they can build on some things here. But again, the fans are going to look up at the scoreboard and see the statistic of 1-2 on the season out of the top 25. And I think that's going to be tough for them to take.
Yeah, that's going to be real tough, you know. But again, it's going to be some growing pains. You know, you got a lot of new players out there, and again, it's going to take time for them to gel. But again, you know, they have to stick together and fight and get back. You know, take them one at a time, and you know, see what happens at the end of the season.
How do you respond? How do you bounce back, Tracy, from a loss like this early in the season? They're 1-2. The non-conference portion of the schedule is over, but they still have a lot to play for in conference. How do you get the team to rally around and say, hey, there's still some positive things out there for us?
Well, you know, you break down the film, you point out the turnovers, and then you point out the positive plays they had and say, hey, guys, you know, if we build on that, take away the turnovers, we can still be a very good football team. And again, the conference play, there's still opportunity to go play and win, you know, a Big 12 championship. So as a team, the coaches have to rally the team and build off that going forward.
I think we also saw some holes on the defensive side of the football today, especially in the second half. The players were out on the field for quite a while, but they've got some adjustments they need to make in the secondary.
Oh, yeah, the secondary got fooled by the play action pass today, and they gave up those touchdowns, and they were getting a little tired.